Hello guys and welcome back to West Brom Fan TV. As you know, the fixtures are coming thick and fast, so this is another speedy roundup of every game this weekend in the Sky Bet Championship. I do apologise, these videos are usually about 12 minutes long. This one will probably be around 7 to 8. We will see though. Anyways, let's get into this without further ado. So, starting off with a big game on Sky Sports. It's a 12:30 kickoff, first of many. This is certainly the biggest one with the Lancashire derby. Arguably the most tasty Lancashire derby, in my opinion the most tasty as well. Blackburn-Burnley. Two teams that have been on really good form this season, both in the playoff places. Burnley third, Blackburn are sat around sixth place, I'm pretty sure. Two teams battling around the playoffs, which with Blackburn has came out of nowhere. With Burnley, a lot of us expected it. It's going to be a tough game for both sides. Obviously, the home advantage is massive in this one. One of the only games in the country where they shut off, I'm pretty sure, one of the main roads in Lancashire, just so the coaches can come, because it's that heated. Blackburn-Burnley, earlier in the season it was a draw. I'm going for the same thing here, 1-1. Next up, Stoke taking on Plymouth Argyle. Now, Stoke are going to have a bit of oomph going for them with Mark Robins in charge. Obviously, he's a top manager, as we all know. And they're facing a pretty wounded animal in Plymouth. Obviously, they got a decent result at the weekend, 2-2 against Bristol, which obviously is slightly rejuvenating for that team. But on the road, everyone knows Plymouth's form has been shocking. It's massively in Stoke's favour. I think they're going to struggle as well, Plymouth being managerless. I'm going to go Stoke City 3, Plymouth Argyle 1. A goal for the Green Army for once. Final early kick-off of the Saturday is Swansea City taking on my beloved West Bromwich Albion. Now, Swansea have been very inconsistent all season, but I think they're doing better than the fans thought they would. Inconsistent in, I guess, the right way. They've still been in the playoff race. They haven't dropped below mid-table as much. They do go on a good run every now and then, so they're always going to be fighting up there. And there's been rumours about their manager coming to us. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but it adds an extra bit of spice into this game. In terms of West Brom, I thought we played superb against Preston North End. Obviously, the first half was cracking, but it did show how weak we are without them. That starting front three, when the substitution we made, we looked a shadow with the team in the first half. So, fingers crossed, we can get something out of this, because West Brom never do well at Swansea. It's one of our bogey teams away from home. I think we'll get something here. I don't think we'll win. I'm going to go a 2-2 draw at the Swansea.com stadium. Next up, first of many 3 o'clock kickoffs, Bristol taking on Derby. Bristol have been very inconsistent as well all season, but are still, I guess, sniffing around the playoffs in that upper mid-table place. Derby, on the other hand, have been absolutely superb at home. I'm sorry for the shaky cam, by the way. We're going over a lot of speed bumps at the minute. Hopefully you can hear me clearly. But yeah, Derby have been super at home, but very poor on the road. That showed when they lost 4-2 against Sheff Wednesday on New Year's Day. Do I think they're going to get anything at Bristol? No, I think Bristol are going to be too much for them. I'm going to go 2-1 Bristol City. Now, next up is Hull City taking on Leeds. Hull down, dogged, they're fighting. To be fair, they didn't put a bad performance in against Middlesbrough. They're very unfortunate not to get a point out of that game, conceded in the last dying minute of the game to lose 1-0. Team taking on Leeds though, they've been super all season. Did drop points at the weekend, but that is a blip. Their players are miles above anyone else's in this league, and I think if they don't go up, I've got to think of some forfeit here. I will have a bath in beans. There we go. Clip that. So yeah, I'm going for Hull City 1, Leeds United 2. Next up, Middlesbrough taking on Cardiff. Middlesbrough, they're one of them teams. They seem to be doing really well, and then they just have a poor run of form. Saying that, the poor run of form, they got lucky and they got a win against Hull, so they stopped that from happening. Taking on a Cardiff side, which are right down in the bottom 3. Not looking good for them, to be fair. They just can't get wins. They seem to draw at home and lose away, and that is not enough when you're in the Championship. And they're going to struggle. I think we'll see goals here, but it's going to be a tough test for them at the Riverside. I'm going Middlesbrough 3, Cardiff City 2. Next up, Norwich taking on Coventry City. Now, Norwich just inconsistent. They've got a lot of quality players, to be honest, but they just can't shut the back door. And that's really been the story of their season. Saying that, they did pick up a big win at Luton. No Luton are down there, but it's hard to get a win at Kenilworth Road. Pretty sure they drew as well quite recently against QPR or Millwall. But yeah, they've not been what I thought they would be this season, to be fair. Saying that, they've still got the top scorer in the league, who is immense, probably be leaving in January, just like our top scorer in Josh Madger. The team that they're taking on, Coventry City, they've been promising under Frank Lampard, I'll say. I think a change was maybe a good thing looking at it now. He's a fresh, exciting manager. He's learning his trade with the Sky Blues. Do I think they're going to get a win at Norwich? No, but I think they'll come home with a point. 1-1. Next up, Preston North End taking on Oxford. Now, I watched Preston at the weekend. They were awful in the first half. The second half showed a bit of fight, so that's some positive to take into the next game. Oxford, they got a big win at the Den. Was not seeing that happening, to be honest, because it's a tough place to go, Millwall. But fair play to them. They're slowly clawing themselves back to that lower mid-table area, and it's going to be a tough game for them at Deepdale, but I think yet again they'll get something out of this. I'm going for a 0-0 draw for the U's. Up next, Sheff Wednesday taking on Millwall. Now, Sheff Wednesday have came out the blocks recently. They've been playing some great football, especially at home. Josh Windass scoring goal of the season last game, New Year's Day, an absolute screamer from past the halfway line. It was an absolute thunderblaster from 60, 70 yards. Crazy goal. The team they're taking on, Millwall, obviously suffered a quite shocking defeat against Oxford, and they're going to a tough place in Sheffield Wednesday. I think you know what I'm going to predict here. I'm going for 2-0 Sheffield. Next up, Watford taking on Sheffield United. Now, Watford's home form is what has carried them this season, because they've been pretty awful away from home. So this is a big opportunity for them and a big challenge. Sheffield United, who are a slightly wounded animal at the moment, to be honest. They drew against the Albion on the 29th, and they lost to Sunderland in the last game. They've been drawing and losing a bit, which is a bit unusual for Sheffield United. Has the bubble burst? That is the question. Well, this will be the big test where we will see that, with not a single team winning at Watford in, I think, a year since Cleverley has been in charge. Yeah, I don't think anyone's won at that ground, and I think it's going to stay that way. 2-1 Watford. Now, on to Sunday's only game, Sunderland taking on Portsmouth. Quite a historic game. It was the League One playoff semi-final not long ago, and there was a bit of a ding-dang do at that game. Kicked off quite a bit with, I think Luke O'Nien fell into the crowd and he was getting booted by a Portsmouth fan. So it's a tasty game. Both of these fan bases aren't a fan of each other, really. Saying that, two teams that are completely different ends of the table. Saying that, it's the Championship. Anything can happen. Sunderland are going into this game after a massive win against Sheffield United, so they're going to have their tails up, and I think that will show in this one. I'm going for 2-0 Sunderland against Portsmouth. Now, the final game is a Monday night one under the floodlights at Loftus Road as Queen's Park Rangers take on Luton Town. Now, QPR picked up massively lately, seem to be pushing themselves away from the drop zone, and they're more of a mid-table side at the minute, which, to be fair, all season I did think they were capable of. They made some savvy signings. It's just when were they going to gel? Luckily, they've gelled just in time for, I guess, the part of the season where it matters the most, the second half. You know, it's a marathon, not a sprint in the Championship. Luton, I mean, yeah, they've got to do a lot in the second half of the season. They have been pretty poor, relying a lot on home form, but lately even that's changed a bit because they lost to Norwich at home. Yeah, it's quite bleak for Luton Town fans, and it's going to get even bleaker, I think, here. I'm going for QPR 3, Luton Town 1. Anyways, that wraps it up. Wasn't as short as I thought. I managed to drag it on for 9.5 minutes. So I've done well there, considering this was a rushed one. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Up the Albion, corn you baggies, and I will see you the early hours tomorrow morning on the way to Swansea. Ouch.